Well, here we are, home again. Sunday after the 2025 GS Nationals in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Got some mud on the back of the car. Got hung up from some rain trying to get loaded. And we collected a couple of pretty bad dents from some hail we got. About the only part of this car that wasn't beat up before that. But the glass is all good, and that can't be said for everybody that was there. And at the end of the day, we should still be all pretty grateful, because some other areas in the state and in Missouri and Illinois and Indiana had a lot more trouble than we did. Kind of keep some of those people in our thoughts. It was a pretty bad deal Friday night. But as far as this jalopy goes, I didn't really have any huge plans other than to send it. And we tried. It's a pretty busy schedule, as you could imagine, because there was no racing on Friday. And we got there Thursday, so only got to make a couple passes. I've got that filmed. I'll attach it and my one lone quarter-mile slip at the end of this. But emptied the tank out and put 110 in it. And gave my cheap little Hallman controller all the turns. And said we'd just see what happened. Looking to get a 10-second time slip out of it. And I think that had I just had a little bit more time, that wouldn't have been any problem at all. I put a 4L80 in this car a couple of years ago now, ironically, because that sounds aggressive, but the reality is, I mean, I'm on a pretty tight budget, so we do with what we have. And after going through a couple of 200s, I had to kind of look at costs. The reality is, $1,200, local shop rebuild on a 4L80 is about all it takes to hold the same kind of power as a $3,500, $4,000 200 4R. I mean, as much as I'd like to have a 200 in the car, that's just not really practical for me. But that leads me to the point of this converter, because I did still spend a pretty penny on that. But when you look at the whole thing as a unit, the converter is going to cost pretty much the same regardless of what transmission I would put in it. So I kind of looked at it like that. That was a cost I was going to have to eat regardless. And it is a Circle D. It's a Pro Series billet cover, triple disc lockup, and it's doing what it was built to do. So I can't fault them that. But when I had it built, I told them that the car probably made 350 to 400 to the tire, which that was true then, and it's probably still true. Turned down just running pump gas from the gas station down the road. But on race gas with more timing in it and all the boosts turned up and trying to get that slip, that's not the case. So I missed that mark by 0.05 of a second with plenty of trap speed, as you'll see. Before I lock it, it's a pretty large amount of slip. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with that yet. There's my attempt at the mud bogs. I don't know what the plan is going to be here. It's a little tricky to get it to leave hard enough, but then it drives through the converter for the first half track till I can lock it and drive. It's really cutting into my 330 in 1/8 times, and that's really what's kept it out of the 10s. I think I've just outgrown that converter setup the way that it is. Whether it gets restalled or whether I go to a non-lock, I haven't decided. I'm not sure. It'll be a lot easier with a brake and a non-lock. The car probably could run a 1060 or 1070 without even trying. But it's got stock axles, stock ring and pinion, stock carrier, all of that. It's a can of worms that I'm not sure I want to open to really start leaning on it that hard. But the work 6262, name implied, true statement, definitely did work this weekend. This car weighs 3,550 pounds with me and 10 gallons of gas in it, according to the track. It's a stock bottom end with a 212 flat tappet and some Speedway 100-pound on the seat, small block Chevy springs, just white box specials. Stock intake, stock cylinder heads, just with some home bowl cleanup. 126 mile an hour at 27 pounds is nothing that disappoints me by any means. So I'll put those slip and that pass in. I got one more 1/8 mile pass in, and I think that it may have been a slightly quicker, and had I been able to run that out, possibly I'd have got the slip I wanted, but I'll never know. The car moved a little on the two-step that I wasn't noticing, and I rolled through trying to guess at the tree, and I didn't get a time at all. So that's unfortunate, but that's just the way things kind of go sometimes. So I'll put the 2 runs that I had in here. I'll put the slip there for you guys to see. Anybody has any thoughts on the direction to take this converter setup, transmission setup? Clearly don't think I am in danger of tearing the transmission up. It's doing just fine. It'd handle all I'm throwing at it and more. But see what you guys think, and I'll put this stuff in here. Probably even if nothing changes, if we get some cool weather this spring, we'll probably go back somewhere else and take another shot at it.